Happening? Looks like it's happening. Okay. Hello, everybody. I did do the right one, didn't I? Wait. Looks like crap. Did I do the right one? Does not. Man, crap. Well, it looks like it should be this one. Why are you not? Why are you not doing anything? Are you working? It says excellent connection. It says, for crying out loud. Back. No, not that one. That's not the one. Why? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? What are you doing? Working? Debut stream key. Okay. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Are you working? Are you doing it? There it is. Okay. I have one person here. I don't know. So, crying loud. So, my wonderful wireless mouse decided to freak out, and when I hit the clicky button, we clicked twice on everything, and automatically launched like several shows. I think this is going. One sec. This is just. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going wrong. No, go there. Click. Oh my gosh. Everything is just. I don't know what is going wrong. Okay. Can I click this and now get this? Go like that. And go to here. Try this video. Okay. Hope that's doing what it should be doing. I've got a chat from one show in one corner and a video playing in a different corner. So I don't know what is happening. Okay. All right. Looks like everybody's walking over to the other side here. Stupid. Logical marvel. Actual live show. There we go. This is how you maintain viewers. Is you give them the wrong links, launch a show in a third link, and that's our fourth link, and then, you know. So, if you threw a chat into the earlier part of the show, it's gone. I've got a little bit here, goes back to like 1:30. Syzygy4, how's LK99 different? LK9 just works. Indeed, did not work. Apparently, one of the labs in China lied and said they replicated it when they didn't. They've been testing the thermal conductivity, the superconductivity of it, and does not appear to even be a good semiconductor. So, looks like Star Trek Society is on hold while we look for the new hope. Shadowfire, Thunder Bay mining unidentified hydrophobic red-colored area on amethyst suspected of being an iron oxide. Looked to be a mid-process forming crystal. Is it hematite? Red amethyst? Phantom crystal? I don't know enough about it. If it's red, and it's an oxide, it's probably iron related. So hematite's a good guess. Red amethyst, probably not, but probably something that's an iron mineral of some kind. But beyond that, I don't know. That's as good as a quick guess as I can give, sitting here knowing nothing about that. Hoshi, Houston, I've been away for some time. Can you please give me RHND? Right hand noodle drop? RHND. Reverse hamstring. Nice D. I don't know what that means, Hoshi. Rundown. Rundown. That's what you're... A rundown was happening in BBBY, GME, and No Lab Zone. Also, if possible, Acme. Not possible, Acme. BBBY, still in bankruptcy, still reorganizing. A file came out last night about service. You know, they said, oh, we serve these people for these things. And in it, they listed what their relationship is, whether they're stockholder, you know, lawyer, whatever. And they listed Ryan Cohen and Ryan Cohen Ventures as creditors in that. So there's our confirmation that everyone had been speculating the entire time, was that Ryan Cohen owned a lot of collateralized bonds, and they confirmed that he's a creditor in this. So, ta-da! There you go. Oh, shoot. You know what I forgot to do? You know what I forgot to do, monkey, in all this confusion? I forgot to do this. Blink! Haha. Great dog. Fat cat. No. Off. No, off. There we go. This mouse is driving me up the wall. It is Black Cat Appreciation Day, so we'd like to appreciate the fat cat, but I have no idea where he is. He's, I don't know, probably playing with the kitten. That's what he does all day long. So, what other chats do I have still sitting here? Snurler. Oh, Houston, did you review Daniel Fong's Light Cell Energy, and could you please elaborate like 5? I did not. So, I saw she has some sort of weird light cell drive thingy. I've done it. I need to get into that and see what it's all about. So I'll check it out. But meh. J-Dog, ball game 6-4. Mariners take 3 out of 4 in Kansas City. Didn't they get 4 homers in an inning today, I believe? That's pretty good. Luke Alexander, Houston, finally got to my goal of 3,000 shares of BBBY. If this is even, it gets $10, I'll be more than happy. Ditto. Like, $10, I'll be the happiest clam on the entire beach. So, I'm okay with that. If it gets higher than that, spectacular. Super duper fantabulous. So, you know, if it gets higher than what it is now, I'll be like, oh, okay. Take a trip somewhere. Andrew Stewart, Houston. What are some of the similarities, differences you think are important to look at between 1929 and 2008 and current times? Well, 29, you had banks investing heavily in speculated stocks. And the speculated stocks collapsed. Depositors' money disappeared. No insurance for depositors. Wiped out. You also had problems, you know, the construction boom and bust cycle. You know, no regulation, like no serious federal regulation on trading. So you had lots of Ponzi schemes. You had lots of just straight up fraud, selling companies that didn't exist. It just all came to a head there. 2008 was largely driven by real estate, the real estate bubble. This time around, I think we have a stock bubble, commercial real estate bubble, and a housing bubble all happening at the same time, combining with a new era of fraud that's coming. It's getting me its comeuppance, which is selling of shares that don't exist by market makers and hedge funds. So we've got a bubble in blue chips happening where the blue chip stocks are selling for more than they should, and we have a complete dearth of value in mid cap, small cap, etc. They should be doing better than they are because they could sold so much. It's interesting to see how, like, there should be only X number of shares available to be purchased in a company, right? But there's more and more people out there who invest than any time in the past. So there's more money going out into these stocks. And so the blue chips, their prices are way up there. Their market caps are insane for like what revenues are for a lot of these companies. And you got these mid caps. Some of the mid caps are decent companies. Like they make good money, but their stock prices don't reflect that. And it's largely because there is way too many shares available. Not that they issue too many shares. It's just that when you go to buy a share, because they're mid cap and they have small floats, what gets purchased is usually a fake share by a market maker trying to make liquidity, taking the price of that company down, hurting their ability to expand and do other things in the future. It's like 33 years ago, my family went on a road trip. We went to Yellowstone on that road trip. Parked, walked up, saw Old Faithful, got back in the car, went to a campsite, camped all night long, moved on with our life. Now, 30 years later, so many people are going to Yellowstone, you have to like book a reservation to see Old Faithful, right? So Old Faithful can't be replicated. So the value of seeing Old Faithful has gone up. Now that you've got to do this whole reservation system and pay fees and all this stuff. And if Old Faithful is controlled by market makers, the demand would be the same as it was 30 years ago, because the market makers would have sold you tickets to see Old Faithful that would never be honored. So only a few people would have the real ticket to go see Old Faithful in the reservation time and be honored. But these guys don't care. So like, you owe me an Old Faithful viewing. And they're like, well, tough shit. I've got a loophole in the reg show that says I don't have to actually provide that to you. And I don't know where my analogy's going, but so today we've got the real estate side, we've got the fraud side, and we have a bubble for blue chips that need to sort of be brought down. And the blue chips have been avoiding experiencing the troubles of the blue chips coming back down because they've been doing a huge amount of stock buybacks. Just trillions of dollars of stock buybacks for about the last 5-6 years. And that has like artificially inflated their stock price while the float gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, so that the earnings per share don't change quarter to quarter. Like, sales are going down, revenue is going down, but earnings per share are the same, so let's keep the stock price the same. You are invested in a worse company than you were a couple years ago, Apple, etc. But the earnings per share are the same, so who cares, right? They spent $60 billion, $100 billion on stock buybacks. That's money they could have been using as a dividend. I don't know. Stock buybacks are... I personally think stock buybacks should be something that's like illegal or heavily taxed, or it's got some sort of regulation on it. But you can't really regulate it until you also eliminate the ability to sell naked shares. Stock buybacks are one of the few weapons people they have against like being shorted illegally, and so if we want to fix the stock buyback problem, we have to fix the naked shorting problem, and none of that's going to happen until the entire economy crashes. Which, if you guys saw just before it came on air, Evergrande, they filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy in New York. So they're bankrupt. Chapter 15 is a reorganization. Basically they want to pause on all the debt they owe, because they owe a lot of it. But it's finally like the first recognition that this company has no money, and that if you own bonds in this company, you're not getting anything back. So maybe now banks, investment funds, etc., are going to finally start writing this stuff off. And if they start writing this off, then their quarterly results are going to be like, come fall. And I guess we'll see what happens to the stock market when that happens. Yeah. Okay. Trying to get through the other ones here that are still popped up on this side of the screen. My inability to get the correct link up has resulted in this might be the smallest show I've ever done in my life. Scott Paul in Houston. Lots of activity in the carbon capture biz. Big grant to my alma mater, Colorado School of Mines. We need to capture a lot of carbon. We suck it out of the air. We suck methane out of the air too. But the scale which we need to do it needs to start being realized now. That carbon capture machine that's in Squamish, BC, I forget that company's called. It's like Carbon Solutions or something. They need like 10,000 of them built 5 years ago to start pulling stuff out of the air. And I mean, the simplest carbon capture machine is just to plant forests. Ta-da! Capture some carbon. Forests are a fraction of percent of what they were a couple hundred years ago. We just, plant a bunch of forests everywhere and you're good to go. You don't have to use all sorts of technology and stuff like that. But you should be able to do it on an industrial scale. Just start pulling air through and taking the CO2 out. It takes energy, so you want to do it using electricity that comes from renewable sources, I guess. Rather than like burning it, sucking it up, burning it again, so it just becomes a net zero Rube Goldberg machine or something. Bill Cohen, Wall Street Journal just published an article on LK99. The original person publishing this breakthrough has a checkered past with the truth. Questionable test results. Seems to be what's coming through. Star Trek, we'll have to wait. Bill Cohen. Oh, no, sorry. Andrew Stewart, Houston. Thank you for all you do. Some garage sale shirts and thrift store shirts will be sent soon. Oh, speaking of which, I got to go to the post office. Remind me to go to the post office before I head off to work, Monkey. She's dead in the corner there. She's not moving. Look at that. She's just old man mouth. Blah, 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 blah. Owen Saunders, Evening Houston. If you could recommend one book, series of books to read, what would it be? Appreciate you. Happy birthday. One book series to read. Oh, man. Okay. Man, dead air. One thing to read that will... it's hard, because it depends on, like, what do you like? Do you like action? Do you like nonfiction? Do you like biographies? Do you like war, science fiction? So I'm asking for a list the other day on, was it Reddit, or might have been in DMs on Reddit, and I gave him a bunch of books, like favorite, this version, favorite action novel, like you're reading, like, oh, I nudged your seat the entire time. Reamd, by the Seattle author, but he did lots of books. Reamd, Neil Stevenson. There we go. That's my favorite action book. Like, if there was like 10 climaxes in that book, and it takes a lot for me to read a book and have my heart rate like spike, go, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? And I definitely did it, and I think it would make a fantastic, maybe like 12 episodes HBO series or something. They signed some deal to make it a movie, and I don't think there's a way to make it into a movie. The book is like that thick, and it would be a much better series because you've got these like climaxes that can happen every episode. I think it'd be a great series. And it was great. I when I read it, I had Google Earth up on the computer because it was so detailed in the geography of like where people were that I followed, like, oh, they're on that street. Okay, they're over here now. And yeah, I love fun. So read that one and then get back to me and I'll give you another one. Tatiana Popova. Hello, MMTLP updates on transfers to AST. There's been lots of problems with transfers to AST. Several brokerages have told everyone that if they didn't transfer by today, it wasn't going to get transferred. That's it. That's the limit. You missed the date, which is total BS. That's not how it works. You should be able to initiate transfer anytime. AST will accept anytime. Your broker is just being a dick. Some brokerages were telling people if you don't offer to opt out of transferring, there's an automatically transfer and just be done with you. So regardless, this is causing headaches for the brokerages, which is probably a good sign. As long as the brokerages are pulling their hair out, then something's going right. It just means that they screwed up, and now they're facing the consequences of it. So let them have as many headaches as possible. Tatiana Pavlova, what Nuco share price be in the future? Not a clue. As far as I know, it will have a $0 price tag to it. There'll just be so few of them. There'll be paper shares. So they won't be able to be counterfeited. Rogue 13. Any new sightings of those giant hornets in Washington? Nothing I heard recently. Murder hornet sightings. Okay. Murder hornets have been AWOL for the past year. That's Axios. When was that? That was July this year. So maybe they managed to kill them all. So that's good. This is Axios from just a couple weeks ago. Let's see here. Chrome. Come on. Go work, you stupid mouse. Jeez, my life is murder hornets. There we go. Done. Yeah, so murder hornets have been AWOL for the past year. Fantastic. Look at the size of that. Look at that angry face right there. That thing is not happy to be alive. It hates its entire existence and wants you to live in its misery. But the no confirmed sightings since giant hornets since 2021. I thought they found some last year. They destroyed some nests. No news, great news. We'll take it. No murder hornets. What else we got? Yogi Bear, big volume spike in TRKA today. Looks like it could start squeezing. Again? Troika Media Group, big spike, got $1.49. Where had it been for the last? So we had a spike in March, got up to $20, and it collapsed again. It hit its low at like $1.07 yesterday. This is low, and then we got a spike. Interesting. All right, well, keep your eyes on it. Yogi also says NVOS ran hard yesterday and filled the gap today. Hopefully it continues on the upside. So many plays. I just need one to go big, and then I can invest in all the others. I got nothing at the moment until one of these pops. Hi, your friend, Loa from Wahoo. Does this AMC drama getting any crazier? New lawsuit? Yeah, there's more lawsuits filing. I think the big problem with the settlement is that it showed that anyone can sue and get a nice, healthy settlement. So if you can't get a MOAS out of the thing, you may as well sue AMC and force them to spend some millions of dollars on you rather than the board. So that seems to be what's happening. I don't know if any rulings in this lawsuit will be able to halt the reverse split coming on the 24th. Granted, that's 7 days away. It's 1 week away. So they really have to get some big emergency filings in there and get a judge to go halt. They might be filing in the wrong court. I don't think they're doing it in Chancery Court. I think they're doing it in Delaware State Court, which might not be the proper venue. So we'll see where it goes. Copy paste. GNS took a big hit today. Must be trying to short it down ahead of the dividend. Derek Cohorst got one call expiring Friday. Bummer. But rest expiring 119. All right. 51 for $3, 11 for $150. Need to win, damn it. I think things can happen before January. Knock on. I think that's real wood. I'm not sure. It might be particle board. Knock on particle board. Hey, we're up to 74 viewers. We're getting there. Everyone's slowly figuring out how to get into this show. Yeah. Oh, they're still. Open web browser. Gotta tell them to come here. There we go. Go here. Links got screwed up. Okay. Maybe they'll start filtering in. See comments saying and the other thing saying late. No, I'm just an idiot and somehow made multiple links and then screwed it all up and then oops. Yeah. All right. Chinese property giant. Yes. Evergrande files bankruptcy. Yellowknife Yukon territories being evacuated. Awesome. Yeah, my friend Eric was supposed to go up. Well, he went up to the Yukon to do field season. He's a paleontologist and never made it to the dig site because of fires, and they've been stuck. And they were stuck in Yellowknife. Now I guess they're evacuating Yellowknife, so he probably has to head back to California, where LA is going to get hit with a hurricane on Monday. Palm Springs is looking at getting something like 7 years worth of rainfall in a 72-hour period or something. Cool. So summertime flash floods in Southern California due to a rare event of a hurricane sneaking its way up the coast from Mexico. This is going to get weird. Climate, man, it's throwing curveballs. Just watcha. It's going to get itself need Tommy John after all these. Javier Martinez do on Twitch the live. There is supposedly a way I can simulcast on Twitch. I have not bothered on how to do that. I guess I can screw it up on 2 different platforms if we really want to make that the case. Okay. Jason Blackwell, Houston. I was dating a girl named Tidepool, but I found her to be salty and shallow. I got one for you. What's bound in leather and sounds like a sneeze? A shoe. Okay, so there we go. All right, now back to the chat that's working because it has to do with this show that's actually on and airing. Switch from this side, which is all wrong, to this side, which is the correct show, where my screw-ups have resulted in the smallest audience I've ever had for a live show. Money mail. Oi. Hobbs. Evergrande. Bankruptcy. Yes. Chapter 15. I'm not sure what chapter 15. I know 11 is restructuring. 7 is we're done. Chapter 15. Ancillary to primary proceeding brought by another country. Okay. Oh, because it's a bankruptcy if you're a foreigner. Okay. So, Chapter 15 is a new chapter added to the Bankruptcy Code by the Bankruptcy Abuse Prevention and Consumer Protection Act of 2005. It is a U.S. domestic adoption of the Model Law on Cross-Border Insolvency promulgated by the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law in 1997 and replaces Section 304 of the Bankruptcy Code because of the uncritical, which is the United Nations law source for Chapter 15. The U.S. interpretation must be coordinated with the interpretation given by other countries that have adopted it as internal law to promote uniform and coordinated legal regime for cross-border insolvency cases. The purpose of Chapter 15 and the model law on which it is based is to provide effective mechanisms for dealing with insolvency cases involving debtors, assets, claimants, and other parties' interest involving more than one country. This general purpose is realized through 5 objectives specified in the statute. 1. promote cooperation between the United States courts and parties of interest and courts of other competent authorities of foreign countries involved in cross-border insolvency cases. 2, to establish greater legal certainty for trade investment. 3, to provide the fair and efficient administration of cross-border insolvencies that protects the interest of all creditors and other interested entities, including the debtor. 4, to afford protection and maximization of the value of debtors' assets. And 5, to facilitate the rescue of financially troubled businesses, thereby protecting the investment and preserving employment. Okay. So generally, Chapter 15 is ancillary to primary proceeding brought in another country, typically debtor's home country. As an alternative, the debtor or creditor may commence a full Chapter 7 or Chapter 11 case in the United States if the assets in the United States are sufficiently complex to merit both full-blown domestic bankruptcy case. They don't have assets in the United States, so I doubt that's going to happen here with Evergrande. Their assets are all in China and Hong Kong. So looks like it'll probably going to the U.S. and then Chapter 15 here in the U.S. are like, sorry, can't pay our bonds. Oops. Okay. Okay, so that's what Chapter 15 is. Cool. That's why I never knew about it, because I'm not a foreigner. Okay. Shadowfire's chat from another page lost then? Most of it is. About half an hour of the chat is gone from the other show, so it gone. You get them all need to call your cable management Cato and his apprentice. I don't know where they are. Fat Cat, where are you? Come here, kitty. Jiggly old belly. Because Fat Cat Appreciation Day, or sorry, Black Cat Appreciation Day. He's on holiday. It's his day off, apparently. Pat Bones, this GME shorting thing is making me feel things. $20 calls might be on the menu soon. Or are they 18 today? 1838. Yeah. Get down to 1516. Rah. During 2012, not long till that GNS crypto divvy. Hopefully it does an MMTLP run, but they can't halt it forever since it'll continue trading. This is true. Dogmom, here you are, Houston. Talking about AMC, GME, or anything at this point, squeezing, please. Let it all just ring out. And I hurt my elbow. I think the big thing to look at for everybody, we got these, little things that go pop here and there. But I think the big thing is to look at, will the hundreds of billions of dollars of bonds in these Chinese real estate companies that are owned by Western banks, institutions, funds, etc., finally get written off? I mean, if Royal Bank Canada has to write off $14 billion in these things, right? What was this, like 5% of their depositors' holdings are just in Evergrande bonds alone? So if a bank like that has to write off those bonds and tell everyone like, hey, we're screwed. That means a whole bunch of other banks, institutions, all down the line are going to be facing the same thing. There is not a healthy Chinese developer in existence. They're all not paying their debts. And all their assets are worth nothing because they're trash. It'd be like, take out a car loan, right? And your bank's like, hey, we hold the deed to your car. That's collateralized debt. Got a deed to your car. And when you stop paying, they come to repossess your car to discover that it was in a fire. And it's just smoldering ruins, and there's nothing to reclaim out of it. It's just gone. It's just ceases to exist. That is the tofu dang construction that's been going on with these Chinese real estate companies. They take out giant loans, build property no one can ever live in that's not to code. It's like movie sets. They're a facsimile of a building. Yes, there's a building there. There's no electricity, no stairwell, no windows. You can crumble the stucco in your fingers. The buildings collapse. There's just bird nests and stuff in there, and that is the assets. That's the collateral. It's not. There's no value in that. All you have is, okay, I just got 1,000-acre development of 40 buildings that all have to be torn down. It's now a liability for me to take on these assets. They're worthless. They are beyond worthless. So what this will allow us to do, this Chapter 15 bankruptcy, and because it's Evergrande alone is $300 billion that they're defaulting on, and every other one of these big Chinese real estate firms are all defaulting on $100 billion, $200 billion, $300 billion each. It will allow the powers around the world to blame China for the collapse of the economy. They want to blame themselves and their poor regulatory practices, or allowing naked shorting, or these bubbles to form, or REITs and mortgage-backed securities and all that crap. They'll be able to say, China, this was your fault. How dare you? You did this to everybody around the world. You sold them crappy tofu dang construction bonds. Shame. For shame. And meanwhile, all the other institutionalized problems across the world are all imploding at the exact same time. And but we'll blame China. We'll go China. And everyone will give themselves a pat on the back and be like, at least we're not China. And while everything still just melts down. Money over Mayo. I'm doing my own brake service next Tuesday. Cool. Take those rims off. Pop in some pads. Flush the lines to service your brakes. Citizen 54. Look at me not sitting on my hands and letting the material scientists take care of it. That's too bad about LK99. Yeah, it's a bummer, dude. It's a bummer. Entrepreneur, what's up with the new AMC drama? Lawsuits, dude. Just lawsuits. More and more lawsuits. Because if you can't win by waiting, you win by suing and getting a settlement, and then you go, I don't care anymore. So, may we all have our lawsuit that nets us a retirement income. Wait, this video's unlisted? Ah, crap. Did I do something wrong? Oh, it isn't. Oh my gosh. Public. How'd that happen? Oh, dude. Okay, that's why it's happening. And now I found it 40 minutes into the show that this show's been unlisted the entire time. I didn't double intro though. So I'll give myself, take that, China. It's all China's fault. Okay. Shadowfire, cat appreciation days every day according to a cat. Man. Sign into chat. I keep telling people on the other one to go to this show. Go to this link. Go to this link. I am a fool. There we go. Keep that sucker just doing whatever it is it does. Okay. Crypto may also be dying, finally. Yeah, Wall Street Bets Facebook page, which is the gutter ball of humanity, the dumbest collection of Cro-Magnon knuckle draggers that have ever been compiled, live there, and they're all having a hissy fit. They all got mad at me last week when I told them that crypto was bogus anyway, so BTC. That's a big fall. Went from over the course of the day, it started out at 20. Bitcoin started at 28, hit a bottom real suddenly of 25. So it dropped $3,000. since the last 2 hours. Bounced up a little bit. It's back up to 26. Little dead cat. But that's a big fall. I'm sure all the other ones are doing worse. What's ETH doing? ETH, same graph. Oh, you guys can't see it because I'm not showing you the graph. They all did this. Like, oops. Ah! And then bounce. So you had some dead cats in here bouncing. Super Batman would... I think he's big enough. I don't think he'd bounce. I think he'd just make a crater. Or he's soft enough. You just go like, exploring. Like when Homer Simpson would take the cannonballs to the belly. That's Chuba Batman. So they look like they're all doing the oopsies. 10%. What was it down? It was down a lot. So that is 250? Down 250 at one point. That's like 17%. So, yeah. Certain alert, crypto has to go before Moas. It is a canary in the coal mine, that's for sure. And Stuart, Houston, what are the similarities, differences we can look at between 1929? Oh, we did that one already. Okay, that was from the other chat. That we got there. We did that. Avocados, equip mowing down the Amazon. Yeah, I mean, fires in the Amazon and deforestation has dramatically plummeted since Lula went back in the presidency. Bolsonaro basically had a platform that was like, do whatever you want, the forest is ours. You can do whatever you want. And that resulted in the fastest deforestation the Amazon had ever seen over the last like 4 years. And now it's all hit the brakes. I mean, we can look at the amount of deforestation in the Amazon is incredible. So we're on Google Earth. No, Google Earth, you're on the wrong side. Damn it, Google Earth. We always do this. No. Quit being in the wrong screen and be the correct size, you little jerkwad. Get smaller. Go over to this screen. Now maximize. There we go. Okay, so you can see from space. Like, this is the Amazon, right? This dark area. Well, actually, the Amazon should be all of this too. Like, Amazon's about 2/3 the size it once was. And if you zoom in, you can see where these farms are. You can see even like these little patterns start to emerge of what's forested and what's not and how they deforested. And they've got, you know, these are like unintentional green belts where these little drainages and things are. But this should all be forest, and it's all basically ranch land now. So it's become dry grassland. Only on some of these ridges and where streams are have they not forested at all. But this is all cows. And you can see it's all cows because you have these terraces forming. Cows hate walking down, so they will walk along these terraces. And so all the hillsides in cattle country, you'll see these lines form on all of them. You can go anywhere there's cattle country in the world, and you'll see these terraced sort of lines happen on all these hills. And that's an artifact of ungulates not liking going down hills because, well, they're built weird. But yeah, this is all for cattle. This is all for McDonald's hamburgers. And you can see it like it just hits this wall of dense forest, right? They have not managed to slash and burn this out yet. And you got some little islands still here of these forests. Oh no. And you can see like there are natural regions that are somewhat unforested. But for the most part, they just eaten up this jungle. I mean, it is so manufactured how this looks. This is not, you know, people need to make livings. Totally get it. And there's lots of mining, lots of minerals, lots of mining that can happen. But you can see where the forest should be and where it isn't. And this is the plant's lung. And the same thing happens in the other tropical rainforests around the world. You got the Congo. The Congo is also now a fraction of the size as it should be. The Congo should extend much further north, much further south. And you've got deforestation happening along the edges here as well. Not quite as pronounced, the slash and burn, but it's happening all along here. That's, these are tropical rainforests. These are our lungs. The other extensions of the tropical rainforests are in Borneo, Papua New Guinea, and these are all being turned into palm farms, palm plantations. Like, this is the native forest, and then you get in here, and all of this are palm plantations. Like, they get forested for trees, and then they plant them all with palms for palm oil. And the palm oil plantations, those are cloudy, you can't quite see them very well. And that's a very low quality and higher resolution, so I can show you the palm plantations better. Here's some rows of palm plantations. Whoa, cat. Oh, you're a fat cat. Hey. He's knocked the pan over, though, so that was classy. Fat boy. Hey, come here. Come on. Come here. I'm gonna come get you. Think you can escape? That's not happening. Oh, I'm gonna knock my own fan over. Here we go. Black Cat Appreciation Day. Woo! Fat boy's here. Aren't you a chunky little tub? You can't go anywhere until everyone appreciates just the girth of the fat cat. That's right. Look at you. I'm appreciating you against your will, and you hate/love it. Oh my gosh, you're so warm. This room is so warm. Yes. Oh, fat cat appreciation. Oh, some serious scratching. There you go. Go over there to your appreciation throne. Monkey butt appreciating your butt right now. There we go. All right. Woo! So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, we're destroying the world. So, pat ourselves in the back, and they'll blame China for that too. Leon Noel, is it weird we aren't seeing all those lining up at banks or real estate places for Country Garden like they did for Evergrande? I'm sure they will. It's just a matter of time. I mean, Country Garden, Smiley Happy People, all the weird little companies that they have, all of those guys are going bankrupt. None of them have cash. The entire China's real estate market is bankrupt, whether it's official or not. They got nothing. And a few of the executives are going to try and figure out how to get out of it, but they'll all end up like being sent to prison and eventually be turned to something for the bodies exhibit that travels around the world. So I hope that the bodies exhibit is all billionaires who are squandering people's money and not political dissidents, like I'm sure they are. That's just the creepiest thing. Bodies exhibit. Do you guys ever see the bodies exhibit when it came to town? What was it, like 15 years ago? So they had people that they like tore the flesh off of, like actual human beings who were executed in China. They tore the flesh off of them and made them in like having sex, riding a horse, doing all these things to show like what the muscle tissue and stuff does. And almost all of them were political dissidents who had been executed in China. And some artist who's a complete sick weirdo took their bodies, taxidermied them, and then put them on display. And then they travel the world in these exhibits. And everyone pays a bunch of money to go to them. And it's the most morbid, weird thing I could possibly think of. It reminds me of like in Far Cry 6, there's an artist who just like dumps molten metal on people and then gets like their agony and frozen in time forever, and that's their art. And your job is to like get rid of this guy so that he doesn't do that. That's the bodies exhibit to me. And it's so weird. People are like, oh, I'm gonna spend $38.99. I'm gonna go walk around and stare at a bunch of murdered political dissidents whose body had been contorted into all sorts of different things that they did not agree to. Weird. Anyway, I digress. J-Dog, solar drone atmospheric scrubbers, let's do it. Sure, that too. Stephanie L, I have to share that remark you said about McConnell seeing a kitten nearly made me pee my pants, as well as the waiter's story of you wearing those long sleeves and spilling food on the woman twice. Oh, dude, that was brutal. The other thing that happened to me once, so at the pub I worked in for years, the coolers behind those, a very classic style pub. You know, the coolers were wood coolers, insulated, but they had like those cool metal freezer handles that would click open. I had this pair of shorts. And the pair of shorts, Monkey Butt, I don't want to smish you when I roll backwards. So the shorts had like a zipper that went down the leg, and then there was this it was like climber's rope or bungee cord or something that attached from the end of it to the zipper thing, so you could like grab that thing and pull the zipper up and down. Whatever. It was a style thing. And I walked past that cooler one day, and I didn't realize, but the handle hooked that climber's rope that was attached to my zipper, and when I scooted past, it literally ripped my shorts off my body. These like nylon shorts. And all that was left was my belt attached to the belt loops of the shorts, and they had torn all along the seam at the bottom of the belt loops and just ripped them off. And so I was just sitting there wearing an apron behind the bar with my shorts dangling from the cooler. I was wearing like cow print underwear or something. It was. I had to like call my mother, ask her to go to my house and get a pair of shorts and bring them down to me at work because I'm hiding in the stairwell, half naked. Oops. Shadowfire, Sci-fi, book recommendations, Children of Time, and A Fire Upon the Deep, or for short ones, Solaris. My favorite, and I talked about this, is the tripod collection, which I still have, I believe. Yeah. Series of 4 books. These ones whet the childhood whistle of sci-fi for me. When the tripods came, oops, wait a minute. The White Mountains, and I think it was the City of Golden Lead, and then the Pool of Fire was the last one, or it might be the other way around. But these books were awesome, and even as an adult, I super appreciate them for the inventiveness of the sci-fi that's involved. And they're made for like 5th graders, 6th graders. But if you got a kid who likes science and nerd stuff, these are a great series, and I recommend them highly for a young adult reader. Granted, it's sci-fi according to the 1970s, but as all good sci-fi, it's about people's interaction with the environment around them and how they overcome it. And in the end, the enemy isn't necessarily the aliens, but the other people that side with them like little queaslings. Snort alert! Oh, Houston MOAS is near because Bitcoin is dying, and it's long overdue. It needs to die more. Yogi 2012, no idea if you saw my comments. Sorry if it looks like I'm spamming. That's okay, because I messed up. It's my fault. It's my fault, Yogi, for accidentally creating like 3 different shows. So I'll wear that hat. It's China's fault. It's all China's fault. J-Dog, yellow-legged hornet found in Georgia for the first time. It's murder hornet's cousin from Asia, Middle East, Europe. Is that the one that has the photographic memory? And then will sting you in perpetuity till its buddies come along and go, buddy, whoa, time to hold them back. Those things are gnarly. Yeah. I don't like when the gnarly bugs come from the gnarly places and make our environment gnarly. It'd be like if all of a sudden Australia just exported all of their poisonous snakes and trees and crap, and all of a sudden we had to worry about that stuff. Just no. Stay at Australia. Stay there. Like when we export something that takes over somewhere, it's like the brown trout. Who cares? Right? Like, oh, it's a fish. It eats fish things. When other nations export their wildlife, it's like, welcome to the death bird. It's the world's only toxic bird, and it's now found everywhere. I think I just lost my spot in the line here. Sorry. Where was I? There we go. Citizen 54. The issue with AMC is Adam Aaron. As long as he's involved, it's dead play, in my opinion. Feel free to invest, but I do not trust Adam Aaron or the board. Ditto. I think even if he's got the best intentions at heart, he's fumbled the ball so much that it just can't be done. I mean, some of the data that's come out, looking at 200 million shares of AMC have been borrowed so far. That's a lot. That's 40% of the entire issued number of shares have been lent out. That should scream huge squeeze. But nothing's happening because he fumbled the ball. So what then? Will he somehow recover and run for 40 yards for a touchdown? I doubt it, but we can see. You wait for a few more lawsuits to happen. And then once this lawsuit's done, someone else will go, you know what? I want $7 million settlement. I'll sue. And then they sue. And then so on and so on and so on. Aren't you fan? Wouldn't reverse split require shareholder votes? Seems like it kind of would. We already had the vote back in, was it March? March 14th? We already voted for it. It already passed. So here we are. Shadowfire, Houston. Tell stories about native Maui while we mourn what culture may have been destroyed. Many natives have lost their homes. Could they be manipulated out of their land too? What could prevent it? I don't know too much about Hawaiian culture on Maui itself. Big Island was very Big Island specific, what they would teach you. But, you know, Lahaina was an important port city. It at one time was one of the capitals. It and Kona were kind of the capital at the same time briefly before it moved to Honolulu. Like back when whaling was huge, so there were some booms and busts in the Hawaiian economy. The first one, I believe, was sandalwood. Now, this book will tell me. This is Jim Juvic's fantastic Atlas of Hawaii. This is the 3rd edition, so this is like the 2003 edition. But it's got great graphics as to the economics of the Hawaiian Islands and the boom bust cycles. Now, it was pretty early in the book, if I remember correctly. Okay. Don't want that. We want earthquakes, environmental quality, hurricanes. Nope. Major mountains. No, I don't want that. I want index, baby. The index. Appendices. Statistics. Where is my government? No. Places that are dangerous for tsunamis? No. National forest? No. Where is my awesome graph for the booms and busts of the Hawaiian economy? Electrical grid? No. All right. Bam. Bam. Physical environment, biotech, appendices, cultural environment, archaeology, history, language, social environment, economy, 238. Here we go. Industrial dominance of Hawaii, 1800 to 1995. So, this graph here. It starts out with sandalwood. So sandalwood was the first big thing. Now, people tried trading with China to like get gold from China. China had lots of gold. And Chinese were like, no, we like gold. You have to give us things we want, and we don't want that crap you have. But they discovered sandalwood, which grew everywhere in Hawaii, the Chinese wanted. And so the first basically pillaging of the Hawaiian economy was destroying every native sandalwood tree that was found in the islands. And they gave it to China, and the Europeans got a lot of money for it. The next thing that came up was whaling. And Lahaina was a whaling town. Whale oil was found everywhere. I mean, the coveted oil was sperm oil. You could use that. It didn't produce much smoke. Worked great as an industrial lubricant. So a lot of ships were based in the Hawaiian Islands that whaled throughout the Pacific, and then they would take them back to other ports and render and everything. The next thing that came up was sugar, and then pineapple. And the sugar industry went really strong until the late 80s, when subsidies for corn syrup took over, and it killed the entire sugar industry in Hawaii. So the Midwesterners making sugar out of corn, which is an incredibly inefficient process. Corn isn't that sweet. They get huge government subsidies to do so, and that destroyed Hawaii's entire agricultural economy. And pineapple, kind of the same way as pineapple started getting grown in Central America and South America, and the pineapple plantations all collapsed. The military is huge, and then since about the 1960s, tourism has definitely dominated the economy in Hawaii. Now, Lahaina was a whaling town. It also was a port city for sugar coming out of the plantations there. And when pineapples ended, sugar ended, and whaling had ended for hundreds of years, since we're using oil from the earth now, Lahaina had lots of waves in the boom and bust of its economy. But what it had going for it was on the leeward side, so it didn't rain all the time. Whereas places like Hilo, where I went to school, is on the windward side, and it just pisses rain like 200 inches a year, and it just rains and 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 rains. At least Lahaina could have tourism, right? Hilo tried to do the tourism thing. No one wants to go to Hilo for tourism. Like, oh, honey, look at the cockroaches and prostitutes. That's what you find in downtown Hilo. One of my friends, when she graduated, her parents found a rental in Wainaku, which is this little neighborhood across the river. Here, we'll do. Since now I'm talking about Big Island all of a sudden, but we're talking about prostitutes and cockroaches, so that's always a fun story. Particularly Borneo. Oops, going to go this way. Hawaii. So Hilo, where it rains constantly. And you can see all the tropical rainforest that's been destroyed here as well for farming. So Wainaku is the Wailuku River, and Wainaku is this little neighborhood up here. And super methy. Anyway, we got to dinner with her parents at a little restaurant down here. And her parents were like, oh, we're going to walk back to our rental. I was like, oh, where is it? They go, up here in Wainaku. I was like, okay, I have a game for you. As you walk back to your house, to your rental, I want you to count how many cockroaches you see, how many rats you see, and how many prostitutes you see, and tell me which one wins. And they're like, what? Next day, the mom comes up to me and she goes, 10 cockroaches, 5 rats, and 7 prostitutes. I was like, hey. Yeah, this is like the one clear day you can get a picture of Hilo going on here. But anyways, on Maui, so Hawaii is expensive, and it's largely expensive because of tourism. Like, it is part of the United States, so it's easy to get flights. You don't need a passport or a visa. You just fly to another state, and you're there. So it's really easy for a lot of Americans to get a taste of the tropics here. But you can see where the line is between where you get the windward rainfall happening from the north and the east, and then it dries out as the wind comes over these mountains and the air descends and warms up. And Lahaina is almost due west of all that wind, so they're definitely very dry, very desert climate. Now, these mountains here store a lot of water. There's no shortage of fresh water at all, because stored in these mountains, in the volcanic dikes, water gets held up, the water table is suspended all over the place, and there's tons of water. So there should be no reason why you would not be able to irrigate Lahaina and be able to give everybody enough water to live and so on. And you can see, you get into town itself, fairly green, right? Lots of grasses, baseball fields, trees, things like that. All of that is irrigated from the ancient groundwater that's in Hawaii and these rainforests that take hundreds of inches of rain a year and load up. And you can pull that water out of there whenever you want. Now, the problems. It looks as though the fire was started by down power lines. They had hundreds of instances where the lines were falling off their towers, sparking, landing in forests, starting fires. One of the big problems in Hawaii is you have eucalyptus forests. I'm not sure exactly where the eucalyptus forests are on Maui, but I wouldn't doubt if these are some eucalyptus forests in here. So in the 1970s, when sugar looked like it was in decline, the landowners didn't know what to do. Like, oh, no one wants to buy our sugar. We aren't getting government subsidies. Maybe we can use this land as forestry. So they thought, it rains a bunch. Let's get a whole bunch of eucalyptus from Australia. We'll plant it and we'll use it as a building material because it'll grow really fast, and we can use it for pulp fiber and all these things. And so if you drive up the Hamakua coast here from Hilo, you'll pass by just dozens and dozens and dozens of these forests. And these forests here, these guys right here, all these are eucalyptus from Australia. 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 All this is eucalyptus from Australia. Every single one of these things. All eucalyptus from Australia. Forestry Solutions. Eucalyptus, 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 eucalyptus freaking everywhere. They did it on Maui too. The problem is it rained so much that the eucalyptus grew too fast, and the wood ended up having lots of voids in it and became very brittle because it didn't have much density to it, and was useless as a building material. That, and no one wants to make paper out of it either, so no one has the money to do anything about these giant eucalyptus forests that have been planted all along the coast here. And eucalyptus is really acidic, that when the leaves fall, it makes the soil so acidic that other plants can't grow, so there's no undergrowth. So all these forests are completely devoid of native plants and birds and animals and everything. And B, when they catch on fire, they love it. Because the only way eucalyptus can germinate their seeds is to burst into flames, which is why fires are so gnarly in Australia. Eucalyptus are like, light me on fire, baby. I want to come. And you light them on fire and then they just explode out into absolutely insane firestorms. So, over on Maui, they have eucalyptus forests. I'm not sure exactly where they are here, but a lot of them burned like crazy because that's the only way for them to germinate their seeds, and the fire spread really quickly. Plus you had 40 to 80 mile an hour winds that were driving these fires just ripping through. These might be, is eucalyptus up here? No, it's different farming. And it swept through. On top of that, you had the local. They have this program called Hawaii Civil Defense, and Hawaii Civil Defense largely came out of two factors. One, World War II, Japanese bombing. Two, the threat of tsunamis that Hawaii has. And so they have an entire network of civil defense to give warnings out to people for natural disasters, which happen constantly in Hawaii. Earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes, hurricanes. They get a lot of them. And they didn't sound the sirens. There's sirens all over Hawaii for tsunami. And it says, hey, if this thing's going off and it's not the second Tuesday of the month for testing, run uphill as fast as you can because the tsunami's coming and you're going to die. And everyone's conditioned like, oh, tsunami's coming. Get the hell out of my house. Run. They didn't sound the sirens, even though the firestorm was happening. Also, the water pressure vanished because there was no secondary system for the fire hydrants. Fire hydrants were hooked up to the same water lines as all the homes. And so when the homes burned down, the pipes burst and the water pressure plummeted. So when the fire companies tried to get water out of the hydrants, they had none. And so there was no ability for the fire companies to water any of this stuff down. And they got absolutely screwed. Which reminds me, on the 29th will be Charity Tuesday. And we'll be raising money, I hope, for Maui Strong, if they can get listed on YouTube. We'll be raffling off Blue Sky invite codes. So I have Someone sent me one the other day. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sending me that one. I hope to have 8 or more. And if you want to donate a Blue Sky invite code for our Charity Tuesday to raise money for Maui's recovery, by all means, send one to me on DM on Reddit or something, and we'll use that to raffle off and hopefully raise a bunch of money for charity to help out all the folks in Lahaina. Now, getting back to Hawaii and some of the problems that, like, this town is gone. We're looking at thousands of homes burned down, very few spared. Granted, a lot of them are vacation homes, so who cares? But a lot of them are homes of Native people. People lived in Hawaii for generations. And their homes were very old construction. Under construction that is completely illegal to build today. Single wall construction, no insulation, improper roofs. A lot of homes that are built without foundations, so they're on pilings that might be on like cinder blocks. So their homes sort of just stacked on top of these cinder blocks. And when you have high wind events, you have these embers blowing everywhere. The embers can land on the roof. If the roof's not metal, we'll catch the roof on fire. They can blow under the house, because remember, the house is on stilts, right? So it blows under the house, catches any dry grass under there on fire, and then cooks the house from underneath and catches the house on fire. So any construction that happens is going to result in a completely different type of home that's built, much more expensively. I think inflation over time, building to code is much more expensive than building whatever you want 100 years ago that you've inherited. And so a lot of folks can't afford insurance, have never been able to afford insurance because they inherited the home from their great-great-grandfather, who gave it to their great-grandfather, gave it to their grandfather, who gave it to their father, who gave it to them, and so on. And a lot of these homes are essentially irreplaceable unless federal money comes in to say, okay, we will rebuild every single house in this area. They're going to need $5.5–6 billion to do that. It's gnarly. Helco, the Hawaii Electric Company, who might be responsible for this fire, probably is, did not turn off the grid. The wind's blowing like crazy. They're seeing in their computer system lines going down all over the place, and they're not turning off the grid for this event. California will turn off the grid. They learned, PG&E learned from the Paradise Fire that you get crazy winds, you're just going to turn the power off. They're like, sorry, people. There's 80-mile-an-hour winds outside. We're not paying another $18 billion in damages for killing 100 people and destroying entire towns. So we're just going to turn the power off so that our crappy lines, which have not been put up to code, can't destroy everything. Rather than like undergrounding the lines or modernizing the towers, they just turn it off. Helco should have turned off the power. They should have. And this is going to be a very expensive lesson for them. They're going to get sued. They're going to have to settle, or they'll be found guilty and it'll cost a fortune. But ultimately, Helco should pay for all these homes to be rebuilt. In the meantime, someone has to pay for it. So the government, charity, who knows? But it just needs to happen. Where else am I going from there? I don't know. Yeah, okay. People are still popping up on the other channel. Go here. I don't know how to get rid of that other live stream. How do I get rid of you? How do I make you go away? Oh, I should put that one on private, right? Save. Okay, and then it'll go away. I click you and say delete. No, it won't let me. All right, let's go back to this one. Okay. All right. I lost my spot. Let's talk about Hawaii. Where was I? Robert Hurt, sorry guys, the best Seattle will do is a wild card at best. Hey, playoffs are playoffs, man. The New York Giants beat the undefeated New England Patriots from their wild card spot. So, wild cards can do it, baby. Don Susie Shadem. The other day, I was 40 minutes behind on the episode exactly when he said I'm 40 minutes behind on the chat. Why didn't that break space time? I don't know how long behind I'm in the chat I am because I had to read a chat from the previous show that I somehow messed up in this chat, and I don't know. I don't know what happened. Weird things happen. The super secret Houston stream. No, it's Houston screwing up stream. Black Udon. Oh no, sorry, we said super secret stream. Shadow Fire. Anyone want to help me make an ecologically stable pond in my yard, Alberta? I have 2 successful plants and a lot of algae growing, but the snail and microorganisms from local-ish pond didn't make it. I don't know how to do that specifically. Do you have like a water source that's continuous, or what? Because you have a pond that like fluctuates a lot, it's seasonal. That can like make water there pretty salty, and that can kill things off. So if you have a continuous water source, you're probably better. I met some people from Calgary the other day. I was in a parking lot downtown Winslow eating blackberries, just munching away. These little guys, just tiny little guys, but they sit in the sunshine like 14 hours a day, and they are super sweet and delicious. So I'm seeing these little blackberries. Like, what you got there? Like, blackberries. Like, oh, blackberries are really expensive where we come from. Where are you from? I said, Calgary. And I said, you don't have blackberry bushes in Calgary? Like, they don't ever get ripe. And so this family sat out there with me for like 20 minutes just munching on blackberries. Going, oh my God, oh. It was good. Anyway, I digress. Owen Saunders. Well, that was weird. Wrong stream. Anyway, hi Houston. If you could recommend a book series. Oh, we did that one already. We got through that one because I saw the chat from the other chat. That's now the secret chat. It's the gone chat. And Black Udon. So YouTube trying to gimp TikTok with this dumb heart button. Man, the future sucks. Ad blocked. I don't know what that even means, but sure. Just Miami, at least Houston isn't bashing Elon today. Wait for it. Oh, you want to get me started? Okay. So, I don't know if you guys have read about or heard about in the J6 case in Washington, D.C. against Trump, they subpoenaed Twitter for Trump's direct messages, and Twitter ignored it. They pretended like they didn't see it. They ignored it, and they ignored it, and they ignored it, and they ignored it. They sent several more times to Twitter's lawyers, like, hey, we need this. And Twitter's lawyers, after 2-3 weeks, all of a sudden, like, we just saw this. We're going to say no on First Amendment grounds. And the judge of the case was like, no, you owe us $1 million for not supplying this. I don't care what grounds, you have to supply his DMs. It turns out that Twitter did receive those documents when they were sent. They did not ignore them. That it looks like Elon put his thumb on the lawyer and said, don't supply it. Because there may have been a group chat between Elon, Donald Trump, and some others regarding some unquestionable things that Elon may have been doing with Twitter to support Trump and others. In that time, Elon also met with witnesses in that case with Jordan, Representative Jordan, and with Kevin McCarthy. So they met with them multiple times in that period of time when they said that they like hadn't gotten it to when they decided they were going to try to make a First Amendment claim out of it. So it'd be interesting to see if anyone at Twitter cops an obstruction charge for this. They got fined like $1 million for ignoring the subpoena. Of the 51 people that Trump followed, Elon met with several of them in that period of time who could have been in those DMs. So, interesting. Yeah. Anyways, Elon sucks. Jigish Shukla. What was the tie-up with Bitcoin pricing and the US dollar coin? Can you explain to me like I'm 5 again? Okay, we're talking about US dollar Tether coin. US dollar Tether coin is a way for people to take their cash, turn to digital currency that they can then barter across these platforms, whether inside of exchanges or from wallet to wallet, etc. The idea is you give US dollar Tether coin some of your hard-earned cash. US dollar Tether coin gives you the exact equivalent of that hard-earned cash for your crypto wallet. And you use that to trade for Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. And you can trade it back, get to US dollar Tether coin. If you sell, Bitcoin, you get the US dollar Tether coin back. You can take the US dollar Tether coin, submit it back to USDT, and they'll give you your cash back. Now, to do a program like this, US dollar Tether coin is supposed to maintain the depositors' funds. And what they told regulators was that they would buy things like short-term bonds, money market accounts, things like that. So they earn modest interest on this pile of cash while it's being traded around. And then they make a conservative, nominal profit off of this. And when you want your cash back, they just sell their interest in bonds, give your cash back, and you're good, right? Well, 2 years ago, federal regulators heard there may be some malfeasance going on and that the money might not be there. And when they went to the bank account owned by US dollar Tether coin that's in the British Virgin Islands, they found only 3 cents on the dollar, and they could not find any investments. The money was gone. It was like $80 billion, poof, gone. Now, it's a big deal because 50 to 80% of all Bitcoin transactions in history have been done using US dollar Tether coin. Now, imagine Bitcoin hits a spike or something, and everyone goes, whoo, and they sell, and they want to get their cash out so they can buy their Ferraris and vacations and whatnot. And they go to US dollar Tether coin, they try to get their $80 billion back, and US dollar Tether coin has like, $2 billion, and no one get their money back. Well, the value of every cryptocurrency across the board plummets to zero, because if you can't get your fiat currency back out of your crypto is fucking worthless. Now, however much anger people have, oh, fiat's evil, oh, crypto is a fucking fiat. Its value is intrinsic to how much people like it, which is exactly the value of every fiat currency around the world. Plus, its value is indicated to how much it is worth versus US dollars. US dollars is the standard candle by which they measure the value of US dollar Tether coin. So, or they measure Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else. So if you can't get US dollars back for your cryptocurrency is worthless. Right? If you get $28,000 of Bitcoin and you can't get your $28,000 out of it, it's not worth $28,000. Now, you can try to find another standard candle by which to measure the value of this thing. But if you can't get the globally traded currency out of your Bitcoin has no value. The entire purpose of Bitcoin is to launder US dollars across borders and avoid taxes, but ultimately get your dollars back in the end. That's its purpose. So if you can't do that, well, nothing there. So US dollar Tether coin not only didn't have the depositors' cash that they promised they'd have, they also mint coins that are not backed. Meaning, with FTX, with Binance, with these other big platforms, they would just be like mint several $1 billion in US dollar Tether coin and post it on these platforms and then start buying things like Bitcoin with it. So imagine if you could tell everyone that you've got a coin backed by gold or by real estate investments or by euros or something, and you just minted a whole bunch, minted billions of it. And all it takes is a couple clicks of the keyboard, maybe a little bit of gas fees, like $100 in gas fees from Ethereum, and boom, you just minted billions of dollars of coins that all have a one-to-one value with the US dollar. Everyone goes, oh, it's worth $1. So obviously it's the same as if I take this US dollar coin as if I take a US dollar. And it's not. This guy just made it up out of thin air, told you it was worth one-to-one, and you just treat it like it is, right? So they minted billions, just tens of billions of dollars of these coins that are not backed by anything. And then they started trading with those coins on platforms like FTX and Coinbase and Binance. and buying up lots of Bitcoin, causing the price of Bitcoin to go up. Why? Because they're trading for it with this legit coin that's supposedly backed, and they're buying a product that people want, causing the value to go up. So the bubble that's created the value of Bitcoin as it is today is almost entirely propped up by the buy pressure from a coin that is essentially worthless. So that's the big deal with the US dollar Tether coin. And if there's ever, for some reason there hasn't been, but if there's ever a giant run on US dollar Tether coin, it'll cease to exist because they don't have the cash. And there's other weird things that, like, what cash they did invest looks like it was invested in Chinese real estate bonds. Oops. So the depositor's cash is gone regardless. So if they stole it, it's gone. And if they invested it, it's also gone. That water is really warm. Okay. I'm sweating here. Fat cat, you being appreciated enough? Oh, stretch it out. That's a good fat cat stretch out right there. Oh, yeah. Oh, gonna scratch that belly. It's just such a fat cat belly. Oh. Okay. Owen Saunders, Houston, will you call out Boss Blunts for being an absolute awful human being about MMTLP? Spreads FUD, laughs at her pain. Can you get him as a guest and own him? I don't have a way of contacting Boss Blunts at the moment, now that I don't have Twitter. I've not seen what he said recently about MMTLP, so I can't comment to that at all. I know he was following what Dave Lauer was saying about originally, but Dave Lauer changed his tune. I don't know how earnest Dave Lauer is in changing his tune on it, but yeah, I mean, I'll chat with anyone about anything. So if Boss Blunts wants to talk about MMTLP, we can talk about it. Excited Box. Actually, the only thing that can save humanity at this point is nuclear energy by offsetting the increase in heat in the atmosphere with an increase in reflectivity of the Earth. We'll have to do that too. We'll have to do a lot of options. We'll have to, like, block out the sun, get rid of all carbon production, suck carbon out of the air. There's a lot we need to do, and we aren't doing any of it. That's how humans do. Humans wait for the collapse to happen. Then we bitch about it, and then we try to fix it so it won't happen in the future. Then we ignore the maintenance of that, and it happens again. That's just how we roll. There's no money in maintaining something. There's money in replacing it entirely after it's been destroyed. Julio, Elon Musk's SpaceX sold all 373 million Bitcoin. Really? Either A, they need cash, or B, they know it's going to collapse and they want to get out now. Basically, they sold at what they bought for, though. Didn't he buy around 30,000 when he bought it all? So it looks like they sold probably for a loss or at cost after 3 years of holding it. Interesting. Says 54, looks like Elmo needs cash. Got to re-up the hair plugs for men fun. Hopefully he's not trying to buy another social media company. Well, he might be trying to buy U.S. Steel to get their X ticker on the New York Stock Exchange. Vavra Kadabra. Houston, we have a major fire burning here in central Okanagan. It's called the McDougal Creek Fire. And West Kelowna, major winds are coming and dry lightning is expected today. No bueno. Yeah, fires have started burning all in the Cascades in Okanagan like crazy right now. Let's see if we can get the fire map up. Wild fire map. Not so much the fire stuff. Here we go. This is what we want. I think this is the one I want. So we've got firm system. Look at this. Like the red dots, fires. The bigger the flame, the more serious it is. So you can see Yukon's on fire. A lot of British Columbia's on fire. A lot of Alberta's on fire. If we were to zoom in, We see the fires have just sort of started here in the Northwest. These ones aren't that big yet, although a couple of them are. But the fires up in Okanagan in BC have grown quite a lot. If we zoom out, those are flames. Those ones, how big those are. So yeah, Kelowna here is the one that you've got going on. Hopefully the winds blow it away from town. You don't get anything starting over here. But yeah. So everything's on fire. Some of these are huge. The fire line on this one is like 54 miles or something. Just nuts. And yeah, a couple of small towns here, but man, that's a lot that is burned. Goodness gracious. That's a huge fire. So it's so 5 kilometers. Let's see if we can get the scale in here. So 5, 10, 15. That's 20 kilometers long. That's that fire. Man, those are huge. Huge burns. Oh well, go morel hunting here next year. Get morels like crazy. Man. I like that they've got 3 different colors for the different satellites that have, they're all the same color. Anyway, world's on fire. I'm sure the smoke will start hitting us soon. It becomes smoke season lately, end of August. You can't go outside and breathe here because the wind changes direction. It becomes an offshore wind, and all the fire smoke from BC fills up the Puget Sound, and then we can't breathe. And there'll be a 95 degrees outside. I'll have to close all the windows, and then we just suffocate. And it's just... Ugh. For stay case there, Vapacadabra. Patty MJ, Houston, happy B-Day. Question, what is the latest on AMC court cases? And if Ape runs before the merger, could Adam Aaron cancel them, sell Ape for capital, and not have to go through with 8K? I think they're going to try and go through with the reverse split. The reverse split, they're going to combine them. It's all going to become one ticker. Now, the last show, people were saying, oh, Adam Aaron's only going to sell 25 million shares. That's not going to do it. That's like trying to bail out the Titanic with a Dixie cup. Like, you're just not going to win bailing that sucker out. You need to sell 200 million shares. You need to make $5.4 billion. You need to pay off every bond you have. Done. Gone. No more bonds. 0 bonds. You want to have no bonds whatsoever, maybe a revolving line of credit at most. The only way they can make a profit is to get rid of every single bond they have, and all of a sudden they're in the green. If they only sell 25 million shares, they make $400 to $800 million. That does not make a substantial enough dent in their debt to ensure they make a profit quarter over quarter. If they can't make a profit quarter over quarter, they can never offer a dividend. If they can never offer a dividend, they're never going to be able to absolutely screw over the shorts. So he's got to sell something. If they have to prolong, he's got 4 billion plus 4.5 billion or so apes he can sell. If he can sell those at $2 each, he can pay off his debt and just flood the market with apes. And then be like, oh, well, it is what it is, and go from there. But Adam Aaron needs to pay off their debt. And if he only sells 25 million shares, he's not going to do that. And this whole exercise was just a giant waste of time and money for everybody. So I don't know. And if it runs, I don't think Ape will run necessarily. I think what will happen is they'll get parity between AMC and Ape, and they'll be worth about the same by the time they do the reverse split next week. Maybe $3 for Ape, $3 for AMC, reverse split, merge, you get a $30 share, and they sell everything at $30 and whatever. Robert Hurt, you see the story about apes suing over crashing NFT prices? No, but like anyone with half a brain would tell you that monkey pictures aren't worth anything. That it was Beanie Babies for tech bros. That's what it was. And when I coined that term and then it gets used by other people elsewhere, that's exactly what is Beanie Babies for tech bros. It's just pictures of a monkey that anyone could steal and claim they owned and remint on their various NFT platforms. Like, I have an NFT version of that same picture. Yeah, of course they're not worth anything. Idiots. Everyone knew that. But you spent $2 million on Jack's first tweet that's now worth $4. And there you go. Stephen Latham, Houston, Robinhood said it will take 4 weeks to transfer MMTLP to AST, and Ally Brokerage said today was the last day to transfer. I email NextBridge Investor Relations. Yeah, the silly Ally is one of those ones that they also use Apex for clearing, and something's up with Apex. That my feeling is because they're payment for order flow monsters that every share that's traded in their platform probably is completely fake. And they've got so few actual shares that any of the brokers can use that a lot of them just can't do it. And so that's why they set these weird uptrades like, oh, you have to do it by today. If you don't do it by today, you can't do it at all. A few months later, they're like, well, okay, if you do it by today, you'll be okay, but then you can't do it. Because they can only do that as long as they still have some paper shares they can mess with, and hoping that no one asks them to do it because they don't have the numbers. Firms at AMC Weebles notice says 69 weeks for electronic transfer to AST. I don't understand what this electronic transfer is because they're paper shares. They're not available electronically. So I don't know how Weeble and Apex and all these others are doing electronic transfers when there are no electronic shares. It's not part of the FAST system. They're all paper shares. And they have to be carved out of the certificates that exist and then sent to AST physically. So I don't know, electronic, I don't even know what they mean by that. Aaron Salatine, Houston must wipe out my frustrations. Figure looks like it did not move $10, then 7x from there this week. I pray that next week it does it. Well, we won't get gamma this week if it doesn't close high tomorrow. It may be somewhere in there it does it, but at the moment, it's not happening. ZW, Houston man, hello. Firms AMC, it's been 3 weeks already for Fidelity, and still my MMTLP are in my account. I haven't even looked at mine. What is it? I got my confirmation number. It's been about 3 weeks since I went through with it. Probably about that time. Yes, 1 moment. Yes, accept my thumbprint. Yes. Yeah, mine are still listed in Fidelity. Interesting. Huh. SJ, after 3 days of 1.5 speed to catch up, now Houston sounds so sleepy at normal speed. Aaron Sounding are better with VW squeeze finger to give me more GME buying power. You and me both. Luke's Alexander, Houston, have you discussed what the No Labs 10K that was released a few days ago? I don't think anything interesting was in the third. No Labs 10K. I don't think anything interesting was in there. Oops. Nope. No. Fourth quarter fiscal year. That's December. Here we go. There's NASDAQ. Okay, no labs, 10K. I don't think anything would be exciting in there because they aren't selling a product yet. So, financial information, financial statements, consolidated, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Cash equivalents. They raised a bunch of money. They've got more. They've got less cash than they did before because they raised money last year. They got about 4 million on hand. Stockholders' equity, par value, etc., etc., etc. So they still have a bunch of shares they can sell. Their lease rights. Looks like they own their building out right now, so I don't have to worry about leases. Digital assets, nothing there. Research development expenses are, research development, operating costs. I mean, nothing fancy in here. I don't see anything. I mean, they're going to lose money because they're still in research development phase until they have a product to sell, and they don't have a product to sell until they get FDA approval, which hopefully happens when they finish this round of testing with their physical devices they plan to bring to market. So that'll come. I mean, it's 10K. Oops, wrong one. It'll be what it is until they sell a product. Dmitry Maximoff. Well. Look who's on a different link. Oops. Yeah, I fumbled the ball on that one. I lost my spot again. Something about Russian rubles. Russian ruble collapsing? Julianne? Is it hitting again? Well, took a dip and bounced. Lost 10 cents in value in the last couple of months there, but it's bounced back up. I don't know. Yeah, it's crashed on the 13th and it's bounced right back up again, so I don't know. It is what it is. Dangly Short should have parlayed that to higher tips. Chris Taylor, BBC also produced a series of the trilogy, Tripod, City of Gold, Lead, and... Oh, did they? I'll check that out. I bet it was like terrible 1970s sci-fi. I'll check that out. Tripod series. Elevated finance, watching you fumble your way through the beginning of the video is very entertaining. You think you would be better at that by now. Don't ever change. Love the way, bro. I don't... Okay. So when I created the show, I went tip, tap, tip, click, 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 click. Created the show. Somehow, when I clicked on my mouse, it clicked twice. So rather than like going from... There's like this setting, like is it like a show for adults or kids? Then you click next. And it goes to the next thing. And you can list the time it's supposed to air. And it clicked twice. So it clicked next and then finalized. And boom, posted a show that's supposed to be for like 12 noon. I'm like, no, I'm not ready to do a show at 12 noon. So I tried to delete it and it wouldn't delete. So I privatized it. And then I made another show. And I said, do you want to use the same stuff as your last show? I said, yes, because I had already written all the stuff and I want to write it again. And this time it posted all of the info from the old show, not today's show. And so I had to change that in there. And then when I launched the show, it launched in the private show that wasn't supposed to happen at noon and not in the new show. And I tried to launch the new show and it made a completely different show. And then so the three shows are going simultaneously and I don't know how to fix any of that. So here we are with the third show is the charm. And it's working. We got 14 minutes left, right, little fat cat? Old Black Cat Appreciation Day. Oh, we love stretching it out because he's such a little stretchy man. Oh, I am the knight. Okay. MS. Thoughts on Fidelity suspending trading 15 minutes, glitch or nefarious? Sound like a glitch to me that they just didn't have connection to their computer network, and yeah, but it did coincide exactly with the drop in price on AMC, and when the glitch got resolved, AMC price went back up, which shows you that a lot of demand comes from Fidelity for sure. Oh, Julian, elevated finance we're here for. Yes, watch Houston just trip over his feet. Ron Johnson, AMC stock offerings are in increments of 25 million at market. So if an institution wants the stocks, they have to buy at market prices. It was in some paperwork, so Adam Aaron won't be dumping to those buddies. Good, because otherwise he would. Joseph Lee, where can I buy BBBYQ at? Someone says IBKR. I bought mine in Fidelity. It works. Can't buy options though. Stephanie L, your bungee cord short story is like when I forgot to take the gas station fuel nozzle out of my gas tank and ripped off the whole front of the pump when I rode off. Sounded like a bomb went off. My sister has not once but twice driven away with a nozzle in her car. I have never done, knock on particle wood, whatever these things are. I've done that. So I hope you haven't either. Apparently is that they charge you big time if you do drive away with it. And do you get charged, Stephanie, or just like hide it and run away? Ron Johnson, 4% of the float is now short. I haven't seen a lot of shorts closing, so why wouldn't the price go up? Citadel alone has billions of stocks sold, not yet purchased. Virtue, family offices, all short. Exactly. They have not closed. Why would they start now? Seems to be my response to that. Firms at AMC, do you think Elon sold Bitcoin because he actually got margin call liquidated? I don't know. He needs cash. But if he's selling it through SpaceX and using that money to give to Twitter, there's going to be all sorts of accounting problems there. Just like he's got $1 billion in Bitcoin at Tesla. If you were to sell that and give it to Twitter, there would be weird financial things that have to transact there. So I don't know. But then again, Bitcoin's entire purpose is money laundering, so may as well, right? PG6 Houston. Sorry, I missed Tuesday. Well, this kid didn't have a show on Tuesday, so it's all right. I missed yesterday because I was doing a puzzle home. This is the highest quality Hilo Hattie shirt I own. My old roommate Shawnee brought it back from when she went to go visit family in Oahu, and I like this is a good shirt. This shirt's styling. It's also a sweaty mess right now. That fan is doing nothing whatsoever. It's just making a slight sound in the corner. That's all. There's no breeze. Trey Spider, is it good or bad for BBBYQ that RC is a creditor? Good, because the plan that's in place is that the creditors who have collateralized debt, who own the collateralized debt, they get to have the company. So that's the deal that's probably getting struck right now. And then they get to write off the debt, realize these net operating losses, and get a gigantic tax windfall as a result, and the company. So these are the good things. Robert Hurt, Cherry Tuesday, thousands of victims being exterminated in Darfur, fleeing the city, no matter how much life is kicking my ass. Stories like that keep in check. I might be able to do that for September's. This month's going to be for Maui, and we can look at something that will help folks in Sudan. Aaron Sounding, Houston, I am tired that I cannot find a job because my arts and history gives me nothing, and all the jobs are for social workers here in Central California. I need MOAS's point to survive. IT sales? I have an ex-girlfriend from high school. She got a undergraduate in philosophy. Joined some tech company in 2004 in IT sales. Now she's like the executive VP of marketing for some country. She's probably a billionaire by this point. IT sales. They'll take anybody. You just got to bro it up. God, the Son of Jesus Christ saves. I live in Hawaii, born on Oahu, and now on Maui since 2015. I came over to work in Lahaina, lived in the area for a while, and spent 2 years building the Diddy Monkey. It's a dry, hot fire hazard. Yeah, I just learned that my friends Kaori and Asa, they owned a sushi place here in Bainbridge called Shima, which was the best sushi I'd had in the U.S. Absolutely phenomenal. And Kaori's mother was really ill in Japan, so they sold the business, sold their home. On the flight back to Japan to go take care of her mom, the mom died. And they landed in Japan, and the mom was dead. And they're like, now what do we do? So Asa got a job on Lanai as the chef at Nobu. So they moved to Lanai, lived there. He was a chef at Nobu for a couple of years. And then they opened up a spot in Kihei on Maui called Garden Sushi, which was delicious. And then they've opened, and then since COVID, I think Garden Sushi may have gone under during COVID. They opened up a new restaurant in Lahaina that did is a miso ramen place called, I don't know, like vegan ramen or something. And they lost their home and their business. So they're such lovely folks, but they're like, we're gonna rebuild. We're gonna serve out of a back of a truck if we have to. So if you have a chance, get some vegan miso and ramen from Asa and Kaori. They make good food, man. I wonder if they became vegetarian or if they're just selling as vegetarian, because man, Asa makes mean fish. And they made Colby beef ribs last time I visited them, but that was like 9 years ago. So Stephen Latham, I think the SEC is scheduling a meeting with Congress about MMTLP. Hopefully they got that data last week. On the 11th, they're supposed to get data from the SEC about that stuff. But everyone's on vacation right now in Congress. They take most of August off. So if there's any hearings, it won't probably be until September or so. And hopefully they'll get the hearings done before the economy crashes, because then let's talk about the economy crashing the entire time. God says, I dropped my power bill off yesterday at Maui Electric, Kahului. They had it looking like lockdown. I can imagine. Warren McGowan. All the billions sent to Ukraine, I wonder how many countries will send Maui their citizens' tax money. I'm sure some will. RVing happens. Hey, Houston, what price would AMC need to hit before a reverse split so that after they would have enough to pay off the debt immediately? Would they really screw Adam Aaron's plans if that happen? Well, if they're only selling 25 million shares, the price is going to have to be a couple $100 a share. Probably $215 to $220 a share to sell 25 million and pay off their debt. If it's blocks of 25 million, then they can do that multiple times at whatever price they need until they pay it all off. So it better be blocks of 25 million and not just 25 million in total, because they just won't. I see SS Minnow Johnson made it back in here somehow. J6 case, lol, you're so funny. It reminds me of that insane DA in Georgia. SS Minnow Johnson, do you realize what 32 unindicted co-conspirators means? That means 32 people that could have been indicted and weren't because they turned state's evidence for the prosecutors and testified against Trump and the 18 others who were indicted. Meaning they've got text conversations, phone conversations, video evidence, written testimony. They're not going to make these charges with 32 unindicted co-conspirators unless they have ample evidence to prove their case. Trump is screwed. He's absolutely screwed in all these cases. He's on tape committing crimes. He's in written format committing crimes. The people who committed the crimes must have loose, flappy lips and talk about the crimes they committed together. Yesterday, a video came out of Roger Stone dictating to some intern their plan for the election of how they're going to get over the fact they lost the election by manipulating these individual states into sending false electors to give the victory to Trump. This is before the election happened. Roger Stone is so stupid that he had a documentarian film him dictating this letter to some dude who's typing away. Well, we're going to create our own electors, and we're going to send them instead of the state electors in these states. And these are election crimes. They're on tape for doing it, man. It's not that hard to figure out. Trump is screwed. So screwed. Says of D4, Elon should lose all security clearances. Ding ding. Yes. In terms of AMC, DeSantis got in on that Twitter deal too when Elon supposedly tried to back out of the deal. DeSantis, through the state of Florida pension fund, sued Elon to force the buyout. Oops. DeSantis just destroying his... DeSantis through life is how I was trying to set up today's show. Somebody on Blue Sky said that you can't have DeSantis in Iowa because he's juiceless and he will cause the next Dust Bowl personally. He's just like a bringer of death. Flowers wilt around him. It's bad. MS, turn your fan on hot. I don't hear any fan. The fan's on. It's just on the lowest setting because it apparently sounds like a washing machine if I have it on loud. Robert Hurt, I'd like to see you on a stage with presidential candidates and own them all. I would love to debate some presidential candidates. I'd do it. When Robert Kennedy Jr. was demanding to have debates with vaccine scientists, I was like, I'll do it. You're not an expert. I'm not an expert, but I will crush you. And I got some traction. I think one of those tweets got shared like 8,000 or 9,000 times before I got my Twitter deleted. But yeah, Robert F. Kennedy, I'll debate you any day of the week on vaccines. I will destroy any hope you had for presidency in 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'll ruin you. It'll be fantastic. Come on board. We'll do it. T-bolts, is No Labs heavily shorted? Yes. Oh, can't see the fire map. Oh my goodness. Did I ruin that? I'm such a fool. I showed the Hawaii the entire time, didn't I? So, fire map. So the fire that's happening around Kelowna is this one here. It's up in the hills here. There's a couple of spots, looks like near town that burned. If the winds blow that way, Kelowna's screwed. Winds blow that way, they got some reprieve. The big fire that's happening is down near the border, Cathedral Province Park in the North Cascades. And this sucker is 20 kilometers across. And this is a rager. This is a lot of fire that's happening. Yeah, that's big. That's a big one. What was that? 400 square kilometers. I don't know how many acres that is. A lot of acres. But yeah, the fires are just starting to happen in North Cascades right now. What we have to watch out for is if we get a big heat dome happening up here, which happens about every August, September or so, we get this crazy wind that comes down off the Cascades and will blow all the smoke in here at the end of the month and into September. And that's what's swamped us the last 8 years. We never had smoke, ever. Never had a smoke season my entire life here in Seattle. And every year except 2016, since 2015, we've had a smoke season, which has been brutal. Like the equivalent of smoking 10 packs of cigarettes a day type smoke season. And a couple of fires in around Seattle. It's been dry. It's been really hot. It's been in the 90s here, which is hot for us. Yeah, so there's your fire map. You can see how much is burning. Look at this. These are all huge fires. Just huge fires all through Yukon, Northwest Territories, all through the Canadian Rockies, all through BC, Alberta. You still have a whole bunch of fires happening all across. This is the smoke that was happening on the East Coast was from fires in Quebec and Ontario, and they're still burning. Everything's on fire. Got little fires happening all over the Midwest. Some big fires now starting to happen in the West, so fire season's starting to pick up here. It'll be interesting to see what happens with these guys, when the hurricane hits on Monday, they're supposed to get out here in Palm Desert. Out here is supposed to be like 7 to 10 inches of rain. That's a lot of water for this area. It happened in one day. It's gonna be gnarly. Gnarly. Okay. Oh, I gotta go. Kitty cat, did you feel appreciated today? Yeah. I apologize for my technical mess ups today. I will catch you all tomorrow. Maybe daytime. I don't know how much if I can do another one of these hot office days again. It's really warm in here. But yeah, if I didn't get to your questions, we'll answer them tomorrow. Either tomorrow night, tomorrow day. It's supposed to be a little bit cooler tomorrow, so maybe I can suffer it. But we'll catch you guys on the flip side, right? Okay, cool. One of these. This one. I did it right.